Shaku Maku, wherever you may be. It is a fine midweek afternoon in the city of Lagos, where it depends on where you are. I understand it's raining cats and dogs in the mainland, the island. Just a sprinkle of drizzle, light showers here and there. But I look at my weather gizmo and see if it can direct me on what the weather looks like. It looks like a great weather. 28 degrees centigrade in the city of Lagos. Across the country, we have the temperatures moving on and on. So let me run and see what's going to happen throughout the rest of the week. Oh, I see that rains will happen Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, all the way to next week. It's going to be a rainy week, but it's going to be raining. Also, news and information here on Hard Facts. I hope you have been enjoying our coverage of every single issue this morning, from Morning Crossfire to the Midday Dialogue, up to Lunchtime Magazine with Colin Stecker, and then to Hard Facts. So today we're going to be running through all of the big segments, beginning with the big three, where I'm looking at stories jumping at me, which I will get to in a short while. Stories bordering on things that I talked about earlier. We talked about earlier on in the news. The Rainmaker, Majek Fashek. We got some updates from our entertainment correspondent, Ijoma Esek. Ijoma will be telling us what is going on with Majek and his manager, who appears to have been debunking a number of stories. But it's the social media age, so a number of stories you're getting, you're not exactly sure what the source and where the sources are, but that's how it is. But we're going to give you the information you can rely on 99.3 Nigeria Info, your number one news talk and sports station. And after the Majek story, it's a big story also going on in Port Harcourt. I'm sure by now you are getting some update to this troubling story, where a number of women have been killed by suspected serial killers. Right now, we understand at least 3 suspects have been arrested. The latest being the one who was picked up yesterday at Rumukoro, where we understand had attempted to strangle this lady. And she cried out. And as she cried out, authorities were alerted, and then this man was picked up, making the third person in police custody. So the women hit the streets this morning, went to the police. From there, also went to the state government house, demanding answers to questions, as well as demanding that their lives be guaranteed. Troubling situation there. So we'll cross over to Choma Ezenwafo at some point on the Big Three, so she can update us with what is going on in Port Harcourt. And then finally, what to make about these new charges that have been introduced by the Central Bank of Nigeria, 3% and 2% additional rates for very, very importantly for withdrawals, as well as for deposits above 500,000 naira. It is the CBN's way of demanding that people stick to a cashless policy, which it says takes effect across the entire country. Well, now they've added some states. So we have, beginning from today, Lagos, Kano, Rivers, Ogun, Anambra, Abia, as well as Abuja. And there was a previous policy where if you did make withdrawals above 500,000 naira, it attracted 1,000 naira on every 500,000 naira you did. But well, they've gone ahead to say it's now going to be 3% of the monies to be withdrawn, or the deposit of 2%, depending on what account you run. I'll let you into that during the Big Three very shortly. And then we'll have a repeat broadcast on the glass ceiling, marital rape, something Sandra worked on a couple of weeks ago. So we will play that again, and hope you can learn some lessons from that. And then on the Big Hard Fact, we are going to be having discussions with Joy Kalu. Yesterday was supposed to be the day that the remainder of the batch of 320 arrived from South Africa following xenophobic attacks on their businesses and residents, those Nigerians who were attacked. So many of them found their way. I'm sure you listened to some of them during the Morning Crossfire, recount their experiences there. So Joy's at the airport, and she will be updating us on just what is going on. You can watch this on social media. We're streaming this live on Facebook If you've got comments, if you've got questions, if you've got information, you can kindly share on those platforms. And during the course of the program, I will let you interact with us by opening the phone lines at some point so you can tell us what you think about any of the stories we are dealing with. And then we'll have the news interspersed in all of our broadcasts today. Godin Asuku, my good friend, will be telling you what is happening in the country. Otherwise, we will have for the next many hours, 3 hours, a great show. And then after that hard fact, we have Lagosa coming up. Best radio drama as you can imagine. So we are ready to roll.
This is the Big Three.
The Big Three.
On Hard Facts. On 99.3 Nigeria Info. This is the Big Three.
The Big Three.
On Hard Facts. On 99.3 Nigeria Info.
All right, welcome back. It's 28 minutes past 3. I'm Aghogho, Oboh, and we begin with the story on the Rainmaker, Majek Fashek. Everyone's got fond memories of Majek growing up as he ruled the airwaves. I do remember Majek clinching the Peaman Awards in the 80s, back to back with the Mandators. Then this was when Tabansi Records was such a huge thing. And then, of course, you know the story and the rest, how he went to United States and the Let's Man show, how he's become such a huge legend. Majek. Ijoma Esek is entertainment correspondent. He's been following the Majek Fashek story, updating us. And in an age where we cannot separate, we just struggle to separate the wheat from the chaff with the fake news coming out. Majek's manager once again has had to come debunk a story. First was the unfortunate one saying that Majek Fashek had passed, which was not true. And he had to debunk that story. And then next one we hear was a story which sort of went viral, saying that Femi Otedola, a billionaire and philanthropist, had taken care of Majek Fashek's treatment in the United Kingdom when his manager earlier said he was lying critically ill and needed funds for his treatment. Appears that story also isn't true, Ijoma.
Oh yes, I just a while ago I spoke with Majek Fashek's manager, that's Uzoma Omenka, and he told me categorically that they have not received any funds, or no one has even called to say that the philanthropist is willing to donate to the cause. And I have Uzoma right here on the phone that would like to also give us his opinion on all of this. Yes, of course, we could remember on Monday when he told me that there are groups that has formed chairman and committees on collecting money on behalf of the Rainmaker. And it was he lamented that these people that has indicated interest in raising funds for the legend has not even contacted him. Neither does he have any opinion of if they've contacted any member of his family. So I have Uzoma on the phone right here with me. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. So Lagos, Nigerian, people are listening to you. The world is listening to you.
Okay. First of all, I want to say thank you. Majek, as I told him, you're going to grant me interview. You gave me go ahead. He said, first of all, I should thank all his fans, all his well-wishers, and everyone that is praying for him, that the prayer is working. He's not going to die. At least he's responding few times and few times, gradual. Now, for updates to the fans, I want to employ most media that are listening to this also, that before they take decision, before they post and repost, they should confirm from the horse's mouth. Now, you remember the first interview I granted with the Vanguard newspaper. I only did 2 interviews. I did with Channels and Vanguard and you. Other things flying on the internet, we don't know about it. Now, number one, like my first interview, I said it, that a notable prominent Nigeria has come out, said he was going to take care of his medical bill, not logistic. What I mean by medical bill, once the hospital give him voice, I will send it to him, he will pay it up. And he doesn't want his name there. Then, yeah, we're in the hospital, they gave me invoice, and I sent to him, he paid that. But the challenges I said that we are having, which I said that I don't want this fundraising. People are saying they're going to go fund me. No, because you want to do that, number one, my check is in the hospital. He doesn't have access to the bank. He can't step out. The only person that can step out is me. And somebody advised, okay, this is what we're going to do. Bring your account details. Maybe if it's somebody individual, what we are asking for is not much, like individual or somebody, few people, just to pay for the logistics, like Majek needs to eat, to respond to the treatment, his clothes, transportations. As we arrived here, there was an accommodation with an agent. Our luggages are there, up and forth, go to get him clothes, whatever it is, and everything. Those are the logistics we requested that can be helped. So when Majek is very well, once Majek step out, he cannot do GoFundMe that. Because once Majek is out of this place, he might withdraw from music and be producing, or he needs a place to stay. He has the future, at least managing him with that can be okay. So by then, he have access to his account. But right now, that's my interview, and it still remain my interview, that we only need a few prominent people to just come for that logistic, because paying of rent, bathing, everything, transportation, communication, I need to respond to his fans too. But now, I see some group of people, Chima is the chairman for fundraising. For what? Did I give him the concept? No. Where was he since 4 years? Does he know when I was started managing my jet, removed him from his cases? All these people that have been doing this propaganda, scandal, everywhere. They don't know how my jet is living. They don't even know how we got here. Is it a crime that Majek is here in the hospital in England when treatments are not forthcoming over there? They just paying all kind of, they put account number on Facebook, T-Mark. Did he speak to Majek? Did he speak to me? No, I didn't grant him that. I spoke to my son. My said, why? My son said, why? My said, okay, handle them. They are his manager, is one in charge, because the children, they are in New York. They are committed to the family thing. And
hello. Okay, you go on. You were talking about his children.
So, yes, the children are there. I don't want to talk about family, whatever. But one of his sons is going to come for visits, in which he promised he's going to come because he has a lot he's answering right there. But the fact is that Majek I'm giving him update, and Majek is gaining little by little every day. There is improvement, responding. But the only thing we need is logistics. If his group of people, maybe group of the union, say, okay, manager, we have £5,000. We are sending it to you people. Majek will call, put Majek on phone, tell them thank you. Or individual can call, say, okay, please, this is what we have, bring your account. He's in the hospital, he's on the bed, he can't stand, he can't leave. So the first person that interviewed me for Baghdad said they will need your account so that they can, at least he needs an update.
Okay,
so
a quick one, sir. The philanthropies that you were talking about, am I going to be right if I say that is Femi Otedola?
Yes. He didn't want his name out, but since people have started flying the names everywhere, because people don't confirm, and what they wrote there, most of the things they wrote there is not correct. Or what I'm saying, I called them in Goldman, why do you release this? You needed to interview me. At least this is what we're talking about. Whatever people have now they when I pick those pictures they put, it's a sabotage because those are Majek old pictures when he was having ups and downs. Now the mistake has been done that the first picture I released, I didn't release the picture like that for media. Actually, I sent the picture on some we were here for 2 weeks. Nobody knows where we are. And I needed to video that for my own confidential so that in case of giving details, what happened, did you take him to the hospital? This is it. So I managed to send to few people, and I don't know who leaked out that video. Yeah, I said, I even told the hospital, I'm sorry for what happened, but the hospital didn't like it and everything. Me and my Jack, we've been parading hospitals years back. I have all the hospitals and that.
Hello?
Femi Otedola for the hospital team, the bill. Yes, hello?
I'm with you.
Hello? I want everyone to say thank you to Femi Otedola for the hospital bill. That's only what. They didn't give us fund. He didn't give us fund. I only sent invoice. He made the payment. They sent it back to me via email, and I took it for the hospital. We give you invoice and account details, which they paid. They paid it immediately, and I got the receipt, and I took it to the hospital, and I showed them it's okay. The man has paid the bill for the hospital. But now, is it not transport? One will just going out there. Would my eat? A lot of things are there. Luggages are there. You know, it's not easy, but we thank God. Some few people have been calling. They say, "Oh, bring account number." No response, but it's fine. The one I'm going to say is that please, everybody should be aware that Tima fundraising is not approved by me. I'm his manager, and he didn't get my consent. Where was Timac how many years? Where was Black Rice running about doing all that? Putting his picture with Timac and Majek. What does he have to do that? They have no right, and that man put it on his wall. He is Majek's manager.
Okay.
What kind of joke is this? Okay. Now, what I want to say is that please, let's all come together and pray for Majek. I need to concentrate on Majek, not all these front and back stories going line everywhere. Please.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, and we'll keep in touch with you on
Yeah, we keep in touch in subsequent to get some development to this story. Thank you very much, Uzoma Omenka, and thank you very much, Ijoma Eseka. Ijoma is our entertainment correspondent. Should be updating us on this story that keeps changing with the time.
Let's quickly mention that, yes, of course, as you heard, he said the philanthropist did not want his name to be mentioned, but Nigeria, people had to leak these stories, so we need to get that facts right. Thank you.
The right side of the story. All right, so from Lagos, we go to cross over to Port Harcourt, where Choma Ezenwafo is on standby. We spoke with her earlier on during the news to get some update to this protest in Port Harcourt over the killing of a number of women. So stories fluid. It keeps changing with the day. Another day goes by, another suspect picked up. Hello, Chioma.
Yes, hello.
Brilliant. So this is a story that keeps changing, and people tell me that with three suspects in custody, it does appear that more than one person's been involved in this whole thing rather than a lone killer, like was suspected in the beginning.
Yes, the police appear to believe that it's not just one person, but he said the pattern appears to look like cultism, and that means he's implying perhaps that a gang is involved. From the arrest we made last night, it's let's just see what the investigation comes detail of.
I know. I hear they keeping their cards very close to their chest and not revealing a lot.
A lot, yes, they are not.
So many questions left unanswered. But what about Port Harcourt and its environs? Is there fear amongst people over what is happening, or are people taking it in their strides?
Oh yes, I must say people are more careful now, especially those in the e-commerce who usually find themselves going to deliver goods to strangers. I've talked to a couple of them who say they are quite careful now, and so the security consciousness just got heightened up again. Yes.
And this protest that happened that went all the way to the government house in Port Harcourt. Is there any sign that this will continue in the coming days, or this is just a one-off thing?
Okay, yes. After they went to the DSS office, they marched to the assembly complex, and the deputy clerk received them and promised to take their message to the speaker. And from there, they went to the police headquarters again. That's where he actually revealed that the police had arrested another suspect who had tried to strangle a lady, but because she screamed, they were able to rescue her, and she's now in the hospital. And that's also where they asked the protesters to understand and cooperate with them, and they appear to be willing to do that. And I don't think they plan to continue the protest after now.
Okay. Thank you very much, Choma Ezenwafo.
Thank you.
All right. Always a pleasure speaking with our Port Harcourt people. If you get into River State, Nigeria Info 90.3, a great station to listen to for all of the important stories happening there. And we're going to keep our eyes on this story and ears, because I know a lot of you want to know what is going on with this. How time flies when you're having a great discussion. We're just a couple of minutes away from our friends from Raleigh Academy, who have some information to pass across to us with respect to finance. And talking about finance, e-commerce and financing, very important information from the CBN, which has now imposed extra charges on cash deposits and withdrawals. Now, the statement from the central bank says that this measure is being put in place to encourage its cashless policy, which takes effect from today in Kano, Rivers, Ogun, Anambra, Abia, and Abuja. You know, the Lagos cashless policy has been in effect for a number of years already. And this cashless policy, according to the CBN, will come into effect in full by the 31st of March next year. So this is a big one. Any withdrawal by an individual from 500,000 naira and above will now attract 3% of the amount withdrawn, while cash deposit of 500,000 naira and above will attract 2,000 naira of the amount to be deposited. So that's huge. Do the math, and we're having some discussions in the newsroom before I came on, thinking about this move in trying to dissuade people from going through the electronic means of transfer. Is also huge when you think about talk that this is directly tied to how the government intends to raise its revenue. We talked about VAT yesterday. Today, it's the percentage being charged now on withdrawals over the counter, 500,000 naira, the same for deposits over the counter. But there's been criticism saying that this looks minor, but it's in fact it's also going to be huge when you think about how the infrastructure and logistics in several parts of the country is not exactly the way it is in the major cities, where we hope to have a cashless. CBN hopes to have a cashless policy in place. If you don't have one size fits all, what happens when you have a problem with the electronic means or the infrastructure not being up to speed? Will you have to pay the 2% and 3% when you have to make all those huge deposits or withdrawals? That's a question for another day. So let's talk to Raleigh Academy. And after Raleigh Academy is done, we would have the discussion on the glass ceiling, which is a repeat broadcast of marital rape. And then the big hard fact, we're touching bases with Joy Carlo to find out whether Nigerian brothers and sisters from South Africa, if they have arrived, and what exactly is going on at the airport. This is 99.3 Nigeria Info. I'm Aghogho. Oboh. Please keep listening.